Hello dear student. In this video we are going to learn next method of command object in ADO.NET, that is about ExecuteScaler. This ExecuteScaler method, it is used to execute your query, and it returns this object returns the first column and first row of your table from your data source. So with this data, you can do some function, just like you can calculate average function, you can calculate count function, you can use count function, you can use sum function. So here in this theory, uh, it is given with the sum function. So here you can select sum of the salary column and sal from the employee. So we can print this sum function with the help of this ExecuteScaler. I will show it's a program and then we will see how exactly it works. So ExecuteScaler, it is used to return, remember that it is used to return the first column and the first row of your database of your table, and you can do this mathematical function with the help of this ExecuteScaler. Now just like the other programs, what you have to do, first of all, make the connection. Now in this example they have taken the connection from configuration manager, that is from the web.config file, and after that making connection through the web.config file, or you can create a connection for every web page, every web form. After creating connection, what you can do, take a CMD, that is a command object, and this command object, first of all create a connection with this command object. These are the properties. So connection assigned with the con, that is connection created by this web.config file, and after that assign with this query, select sum sal, that is the salary column, and sal from the employee. Then CMD command type will define that type of that particular command, whether it is a text, whether it is a stored procedure, or whether it is a direct table. After that we have to open the connection. So here they have used con.open, or another way that you can write on cmd.connection.open, as it is assigned with this con. Connection, you know that what we are writing in the connection, the data source that we are connecting, and whether it is Windows authentication or whether it is authentication of SQL. After that, opening connection. Now the next task is that use this ExecuteScaler method. This ExecuteScaler method, now here we are applying the sum function, so we will return this data in the form of the integer. So take int 32 total salary. This is an integer variable, it is assigned with this query. Now we have to convert into the integer format. So write on convert dot to int 32 and then cmd dot ExecuteScaler. So this query will be executed in the form of it will return actually object. So it will be converted into the integer 32 and assigned with the total salary. Now here they have taken message box dot show, and this will be get shown. We can take response dot write for your web browser. Now let's see this program. After that, cmd dot dispose and catch this exception if there is any error. Now let's go to the coding part. Now the program is program ExecuteScaler.aspx. Now here C# file. Okay, see this one. Now what I have done, so I created con object of SQL connection. Now one thing, remember that you have to create, first of all, add this package, add this namespace using system.data.sql client, which connection you want to establish. We want to establish SQL connection. Then con, then you know that at the rate and in double quote write down these properties that we have seen from the Server Explorer. So in Server Explorer, so these are the connections. Among that, the first connection, we want to connect to a table student, and here you can get with this database as a property. I am repeating this one. See, this is a connection string. So just Control A, Control C, copy this code, and just we have to write down, paste it into this bracket for the SQL connection. After that, put all the statements in the try block. Okay, so try SQL CM command, CMD is equal to new SQL command. So here CMD object is created for the SQL command. CMD dot connection is equal to con. So this con is assigned with this to the CMD dot connection. CMD dot command text is equal to select average. ABG function it is used to calculate the average. Now I tried to calculate the average of attendance from the student table. So write down a proper name of your column, that is whether it is in a capital letter, small letter, as it works case sensitive for the columns. So write down properly this one, and after that from table table name. After that CMD dot command type, that is it is a text type, system dot data dot command type text. CMD dot connection dot open. So this code you are very familiar with this one. After that, take integer 32, assign with this variable attendance AVG is equal to convert dot to in 32 CMD dot execute scalar. When you type such thing convert or any function, then you can see you can get a help of different properties that you can assign. So among that, find out that which property you want to assign. That 2 int 32 we want to assign it. So write it down over there, and it is assigned with this attendance average of this execute scalar function. So execute scalar, it will execute this query and this value will be assigned to attendance average. Now we have to print it. For that you can take a label, or we can take response.write is equal to in bracket average attendance, this is your string, concatenate with this plus operator attendance avg dot to string. So that will be get converted into string format and will be printed on your web browser average attendance. If there is any error, it will be catch and handled by this ex object. And finally we should execute it with this con dot close. Okay, so this is about this execute scalar. Let's run this program. And let's see the output. This is the output. You can see here average attendance is equal to 83%. So here it has been printed with this attendance. So along with that, what you can do, so you can calculate the count. So you can use this execute scalar, and you can use count function, and you can calculate the count number of rows in that table. Also you can use that sum function if it is applicable for your program or your table, then you can use the sum function. So the sum, count and this average functions you can use for this execute scalar, such mathematical functions. So this is about the execute scalar program. Then next we will see the next method, that is about execute XMLreader. Its name is indicating your data will be converted into XML format, and that you can save or you can use it for your later purpose. So execute XMLreader object we have to use, and for that we have to follow some properties, we have to follow some methods. Now let's directly go to the coding part for this execute XMLreader. Now here first of all let's go to this namespace data.sql client that you know, and using XML system.xml. This is required. If you don't use this system.xml, then some of these properties and functions will not work of this XML reader, and even for the XML document it will not identify this one. So for that reason we have to use this system.xml package. So you add this one into your program, and after that the first part till making the connection it is the same one that you can make a, first of all, make a connection either using web.config file with the help of connection string, or you can write it down into the web form just like this one, and then cmd is equal to new SQL command, cmd connection is equal to con. Next is a query, cmd.command text, it gives a query. Now here we have to save this table into the XML format. So here select star from student, that you know that select star from student means it will select all the data from the table. Table name is student. For XML, now here how exactly this XML file will be get created. So these data we have to provide. So XML raw student data. So this is a child element of this root student. So root, at the root level there will be student, and for repeating the every row there will be the student data child element will be used. After executing this program, you will understand how exactly student data is used and the student is used. So student is a root, after the root student data, and within student data this every row will be get selected. Every row means what? Now in this table, if you go to the table, then you can see there is a roll number, name, and attendance. So these are some fields. So for these fields we require to hold this value into the element. So this element will be acted as in a student data. So here in the student, which are the different fields? So the fields are, there are the 4 fields: roll number, name, course, and the attendance. This will be enclosed with this element as in a student data. So it will be get repeated for the number of rows, and the student, it will be your base, that is your the root one. After that system.data.command-type.text, it is a text type, and then open the connection with cmd.connection.open, and then execute it with the XMLreader. Take this XMLreader, create its object XMLreader is equal to cmd.executeXMLreader. Now it will execute this command text with this execute XMLreader. After executing it, we have to save it. So for that, take XML document class, create its object xdoc, new XML document. Then we have to iterate through that particular document through the whole table. So it is stored in this XMLreader. As the query get executed, all the data select star from student, and in the form of this element and the root, it is stored in this XMLreader. So that's why iterate for this XMLreader, XMLreader.read. It will read that function, read that all data, and then we have to load into this XML doc. So XML doc.load. So xdoc, this will be having now XMLreader data. It will be loaded, and then we have to save this file with some name. So x.load XMLreader. So it will be iterate row by row, and then that will be saved into the xdoc. What is xdoc? Xdoc, it is an XML document object. So it will be right now having a whole XML document. Now this has to be saved into some file. So after completion of this iteration, then whole file, it is stored in this xdoc. So stored into the xdoc.save, and take the drive path and where you want location, where you want to store. For example, student.xml. Here that particular file will be get stored. So just for user understanding, you can write down response.write XML file created at D drive as a student.xml, that will be printed on the web browser. And if you go to this location, then you can find out this file. After executing this program, it will show like this one: XML file created at D drive, student XML. And if we go to this file, go to the D drive, you can see there is one file created, student XML. So see, this is a file. Student XML create student, it is your root element, and within the root element, this is your child element, and these are the different fields: roll number, name, course, and these are the values. So in this way you can create your table data into the XML form with the help of ExecuteXMLreader. So we have completed this point of the command object. Now we will stop here, and thank you.